back for another video. My name is Josh Casting, and today, well, this is Beyblade Metal series review. This is an anime. Now, this is, I think this is the second series, I'm pretty sure, because the first series my brother grew up on. I grew up with this series. I have seen the third series, but it's not, I don't think, as good as this middle series. I really enjoy this middle series. In fact, like, I don't know, I wish it wasn't canceled. I don't think canceled it necessarily. I think they ended it the way they wanted to. I just felt like they should have ended it like that. Or at least they should have, in my opinion, should continue it. In fact, someday I wish I go back to them and talk about, like, I wanted to continue the series. They probably won't let me, but, you know, whatever. Definitely, I have ideas for the series. So it the show kind of goes around a character named Gingka, who's kind of from a small little village of Beyblade. It's like kind of a ancestry place of Beyblades. And his Bey is Storm Pegasus, who actually is an ancient Bey who comes from his who's originally his father's, but his father is assumed to die when basically another ancient Bey, an evil one called El Drago, was taken by Ryuga and the this evil organization called the what was it? The Dark Nebula, basically, and so that's kind of the whole point. He's traveling around the world, battling Beybladers and stuff, and he meets friends like Kenta, Madoka, she is a Beyblade mechanic. She fixes Beyblades and stuff if they get wrecked in battle. And I kind of wish, because in the fourth season it's a new generation and they are adults now, Gingka and Madoka, I kind of want them to fall in love and stuff, you know. But whatever, that's my opinion. Whatever, because she's only she's the only girl in the group, actually. Really, well, I guess there is more, but the one that's in the group. There's some offbeats, I guess, but yeah, I mean, you have that. So the first season, they're battling, making friends, and he makes a rival, and Kyoya, who his Bey is Rock Leone, and basically Gingka, he's part of this kind of mob, or not really a mob, but like mean people with Beyblades, and he basically, Gingka beats him, and well, now he's kind of like made his goal for life to battle and beat Gingka, and so, but eventually they you go on, and then later on they face the Dark Nebula, Ryuga. Now Ryuga, basically, the evil Bey El Drago with the darkness is taking over him, and he can't control. He's getting harder and harder to control. But he does stuff, and so eventually we find out that there's this new player called Phoenix, but he's not in his Bey. Flame Phoenix, I think that's what I call it. But he's actually Gingka's dad, who's not dead. And eventually they have this tournament in Japan to decide number one, or kind of big number one, and then later on it's it's a tournament that's number one in Japan, but that's later on. And throughout the tournament, then you have the final battle between Gingka and Ryuga, where Gingka wins, and basically, but in the process, the Storm Pegasus disintegrates as it goes on. So, but he beats the darkness, and he beat Ryuga, which later on the darkness goes away, but from El Drago, but Ryuga learns to control El Drago, and basically El Drago is the left turning bay, so it goes the opposite of every other bay, with the dark power, basically he can just let it drift into there, and every time it hits a bay, it becomes faster because it steals the opponent's energy and stuff, and adds it to its own to spin faster and faster and faster. Ryuga learns how to make El Drago do that without the dark power. But the dark power actually went to Tsubasa in one of the battles and stuff, which we get onto later. So the second season is basically a world tournament, and you're battling a bunch of opponents. Basically, you have Gingka, who doesn't have a bay yet, but he gets learned that there's another ancient Beyblade, other than Pegasus, in the town. Basically, he goes after it and stuff, and it turns out this bay is a Pegasus, and it's Galaxy Pegasus. So basically, and I like Galaxy Pegasus more than Storm Pegasus, the blue and all that. I really like the blue stuff. And so basically, the World Tournament. But basically, you have this guy named Masamune, who is from America, but actually was originally from Japan. But he comes back, because he doesn't like the fact that his goal is to become number one, and he doesn't like that was decided without him. But it really wasn't decided, because that was only number one in Japan, not number one in the world, because there's a world tournament. And so basically, now Ginka's dad's not part of the WBBA organization who runs Beyblade around the world, but he runs the Japan WBBA. And it says they're going to host a tournament to decide who's going to be part of this team, because it's a team that goes to the world. It goes to the world tournament, so it's a team to decide the Japan representatives. Well, Ginka's already a representative, so he doesn't have to battle this, even though he doesn't like that. And then you have this tournament. You have Tsubasa, you have who also introduced in the first season. He was at first working with the Dark Nebula organization, but he's not part of that anymore. And so he's starting for this tournament. Well, Kenta lost and stuff, so he's not and stuff, and so now he doesn't get part of this team and stuff. And then he what you call it, right? Right. So Tsubasa, so you won. Masamune, he also enters and he won, so he's the second man. So now you lost to Masamune, but then Tsubasa was fighting Kyoya, so Kyoya's in this tournament. However, Kyoya wins, but Kyoya doesn't want to be on the team because he wants to battle Gingka, and so he finds another way to join the tournament. But ultimately, he does lose to Gingka eventually in the tournament. So basically, you have. So now, basically, Tsubasa becomes an official member, even though he lost, and Yu becomes the sub member. Okay, and then they go off to Japan. They go to China, where they become friends with the China team. Then they face this Russia team, and they become friends with them. And stuff like that, and they win, and then they faced Kyoya and his team, won. Then they faced the European team, who were really strong, powerful. Basically, the leader of them, his family owns a huge a huge organization around the world. He excels in all types of sports. He wants to become number one in Beyblade. He wants to excel in everything, and his Bey can rotate both ways. So that's actually also pretty interesting. But although it was a struggle, Gingka and them were able to beat them, and then they faced these dirty people from Brazil, these no good cheaters, but they were able to win even though the struggle's there. And then, by the way, and then it comes to the American team. The American team is crazy. They humiliate Excalibur, and so that now you have the American team is actually is the villains in this, or the leader of the American team they're the villains of this season. You have this doctor who basically originally was he was a scientist on the mines and stuff. He was a doctor on the mines and stuff, and so he used that research and all that and started doing experiments. He created this organization called Hades Inc., which was actually the real masterminds behind the Dark Nebula organization and stuff. And basically, he kind of targets Gingka and then he targets El Drago because they're ancient bays and they're powerful and stuff. And basically, he also runs this school that takes in weak Beybladers and makes them strong, and using basically not skills like giving them skills, but using science to basically increase their power to go to 100% abilities. Like no person on their own can go 100% on their own. So this tech is supposed to get their 100%, their unique attributes, everything, and then it also basically creates a bay for them that connects to them at a deeper level. So you have this Damien guy basically battles Tsubasa and Yu and knocks them out, so they're not going to be in the final tournament and stuff. And basically you have so Masamune's from America. He's friends with this guy named Rio. I think that's his name, right? And then Toby. Well, Toby got an illness, and basically they were going to shoot for number one in the world, but Toby's sick and he can't do that. So he asked his friends to become number one in the world, and so that's what they do. But basically, Masamune heard about what happened to in Japan, so he goes over there and. Basically, Rio was mad at that. Basically, he felt Masamune betrayed him and Toby and stuff, and so he's not happy with them. And now, basically, however, this doctor dude basically picked Rio to become one of the experiments and stuff. Okay. So what he does is he gives them called an arrangement. And so that's what this is basically an arrangement that gives them powers. So basically he says, basically he'll help Toby if Rio agrees to be in his experiments with the arrangement. So he becomes part of the team. He also have Jack, who's all about art and stuff, and then you have Damon, who has the Hades band. He's supposed to be very powerful. He's very powerful, but basically Masamune faces Rio in the final battle tournament. Masamune lost because basically the doctor told Rio that if he doesn't win, he will stop helping Toby, and so he put all his power to defeat Masamune. However, I feel like if that wasn't on the line, I feel like if Masamune was really, I think Masamune would have beat him. Honestly, but basically then Jack comes into battle to battle Gingka. But basically, since Tsubasa and Yu are out of commission. That the team is allowed to have some member, but that has not battled in the previous tournament or associated with the tournament or an adult or part of the WBBA. Those are the rules. So obviously, so basically, but however, Ryuga isn't, and Ryuga jumps in, and basically Jack challenged him before, and so that's why he's here, and he beats Jack, obviously, and then Gingka faces Damien, but it looks like he was going to lose. Damien was winning. He says, "You can't beat me. I'm way stronger." But Jinga's willpower, Jinga's base spirit, allows him to beat Damien. And basically, but with all this research, the doctor, basically, the doctor guy, I forgot his name, Zigerman, Dr. Zigerman, yeah, that's his name. So I keep calling him Doctor, but it's not Doctor Who. Dr. Zigerman, basically now, with all his research, he's going to give an arrangement to Toby, but he turns Toby into a new person called Faust, which is really weird because that is very similar to another character in the show who's part of the Excalibur team, and his name is Klaus. So that really, you couldn't come up with something, at least something different from other characters, but whatever. That's the name. He's a totally different person, and he has this new bay that he feels like called Twisted Tempo, who's supposed to be the ultimate bay ever, and it created this new energy source called Spiral Force, and basically he tests it, and it basically he uses it, and it destroys the entire forest, land, and evaporates the entire water. It's just crazy how powerful this is. And basically, but unfortunately, instead of being nice and selling it to someone to be used for a good thing, he'll just sell it to any person, the highest bidder, and that could be really bad because the highest bidder could be someone really bad who will use it as a weapon. And Gingka, WBBA, everyone was not going to have that, so they go to where the company is, Hades City, but while they're there, Hades City basically rises up out of the city, and Jinga's in there, and they're all fighting. Basically, you have Tsubasa and Yu, Tsubasa battles Jack. Kyoya battles Damien, who basically and Damien beats, and stuff. And Rio, who's not happy that his friend Toby was changed this way, he's in a cell. And basically, we found out that the leader of the Excalibur, he's basically working with Hayes now because Dr. Zigerman bought all his companies. Basically, he has nothing now. And then he's also working with the Brazilian team, the shady Brazilian team, and who else? There was, and then of course the American team, obviously. And so you had all of them, and so you have these different people helping out. You have the Chinese team helping out. You have the rest of Excalibur helping to stop this guy, and he's going to test the thing one more time to get more bidders by destroying an island. But basically Ryuga wasn't going to have that, where he wanted revenge for how Zigerman was kind of treating him over the season. So he basically launches El Drago, destroys the machine, blows it all up, and kind of traps the energy into the thing. And it causes the building, if the city falls to the ground. Sorry about that. Now where was I? So yeah, right. But basically, they're battling, and so he basically, if this energy releases, it'll destroy the entire planet. So Gingka gets the idea, but before this was happening, Gingka and Stryker and Masamune are battling Thaus, and basically they learned that basically this Twisted Tempo could control space-time, time and space, and they're kind of heading into this black hole type thing, and then basically the whole point of Twisted Tempo is that it's always spinning for eternity. It can never stop. But Ginga and obviously Masamune figure out how to stop it, and then Ginga, after this whole El Drago thing, basically Ginga goes and tries to stop the energy force, because if a Beyblade created the force, this energy, that then a Beyblade can do it. And then basically Rio, with this problem going on, people are exiting the thing before it blows up and stuff. Rio was able to get out of his cell because there's no power left there, and he finds Masamune battling, basically Thaus basically can't stop. His main directive, all he can think about is always spinning, always making twisted spinning. So he picks it up, but the more he does that, the more energy gets added to destroy the world. But Masamune is helping him do, is trying to stop Thaus, and then Rio joins in, and they're helping Toby remember everything, and they do. They are able to stop him. He remembers being Toby, although he's very different now, more in health. Doesn't look the same. His hair is definitely not the same anymore. And then, so they're able to do it, but Ginga is having struggle stopping the force. His bay is breaking, it's destroying. But then Ryuga comes out of nowhere and basically helps Ginga stop the power. And it makes sense, because basically Twisted Tempo the energy is basically created from the research from Ginga and from the energy from Ginga and Ryuga. So they both are able to stop it. They leave, and that's pretty much the end of the season, right? And then everyone goes back. Toby and Masamune and Ryo are together again. Ginga and all of them head back to Japan and stuff and all that. So, really interesting story. So the third season is basically about how Nemesis, which is actually a Beyblade with a powerful Beyblade, who wants to destroy the world, is reviving and is coming back, and then the chosen ones have to, based on constellations, have to stop him. Obviously, and then there's this evil group who want to revive Nemesis, who are working with the revival of Nemesis. Was able to convert some of the chosen ones, but obviously not Ginga. But in how the chosen ones are picked is that these crystals, this big crystal splits into everyone, and it picks a special bay, and the bay is evolved. So Cosmic Pegasus is chosen, and it becomes Cosmic Pegasus. Rock Leone becomes Fang Leone. I don't know what El Drago becomes. Then there's others. There's a guy named Jupiter and other things, and their goal is to stop Nemesis. They're stopping Nemesis. The whole point is the same. They're stopping Nemesis, and Nemesis gets revived and it's destroying things. A lot of distractions going on, but the chosen ones are battling him, trying to stop him. But before that, there was one time where Ryu, basically throughout the season, basically Kenta feels like he's useless, and so he's always trying to become stronger, to become someone that could help Ginga and the others. So he finds Ryuga and stuff, and he follows Ryuga everywhere, and so he's trying. And that basically one time Ryuga is in a battle, and he gets really brutally defeated, and stuff. So before what happens, basically El Drago and Kenta's Bay, I forgot Kenta's Bay, but they're part of the same constellation, and so basically he was able to transfer the crystal to Kenta, and Kenta's Bay evolved. And that's the whole point, is that they're all helping to fight Nemesis, and they finally do defeat Nemesis. And albeit the a lot of the world is in wreck after it. So the fourth season is several years events, a new Beyblade generation starting. Everyone's older. You have new people, and the fourth season it follows the character of Zero. Now his bane is Samurai Ifrit. Now what's cool about this season is that they have new Beyblade stadiums and new types of bays. The Bay Stadium, the Cyclone Bay Stadium, which basically there's nothing connecting it, it just swirls around. It's like a gravity thing. I don't know how it actually works or something, but that's how it works. But these bays can also fuse with other people's bays, and that's another huge point in this series. But Samurai Ifrit was given to Zero by Gingka himself, which is annoying because Gingka was totally mistreated in this series. I don't get me wrong, I loved it. I like this season. It's definitely interesting, but I hate the disrespect that they gave Gingka. They treat him like he's some newbie, and I am so upset how they treat Gingka. It's like how I didn't like how they treated Lightning McQueen in the third Cars thing. That's why I don't like the third Cars movie. I like the second one. A lot of people like the second one. A lot of people hate the second one, like the third one. I like the second one. And I hate the third one. I can't stand the third one. I just do not like the third one. I feel like it's dumb. I feel like it's too soon. I felt like it was rude to Lightning McQueen. You do not basically make a character weak, okay? You don't make a character that's so strong, so beloved, and make him weak, like he's somebody. That's how I feel like Lightning McQueen was treated. He was treated like they made him weak. And that's how I feel like in this thing, they made Gingka weak. This show wasn't about Gingka, so that's why I like this season. But this series was all about Gingka, and they make him weak. I would not like this season. I would have been done. Okay? But another annoying part is that basically Zero's base is Samurai Ifrit. Well, Pegasus is also new, and they changed Pegasus, so now Pegasus has the new mechanics, new Beyblade, and they named it Samurai Pegasus. Really? I'm really annoyed this season. Now, the villains of this season is basically the Dark Nebula reborn and the DNA, and it's basically assumed to run by the Brazilian team, but actually the leader of the Dark Nebula, who was supposedly killed by Ryuga in the first season, is actually his mind's in a computer now, and he's actually running things. And so the whole point of this season is starting the new generation. Like, I don't think they were ever going to continue it there. The whole point was show a new generation. That's what they did. They didn't want to go any further than that. I find that annoying. I want this series continued. I want Gingka to fall in love with Madoka. I want this and that. And I want to go to them and try to find a new thing to work with them. I want to work with them, create a new... continue the series. They might not let me. I don't know. Why would they say to no more money? But whatever. There it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You guys, I've actually have almost everything on DVD. I'm close to finishing the second season on DVD, buying it all on DVD. And then I don't have any of the first season, though. It's kind of weird. I don't know. I still have to get the first season. But I have the seasons 2 through 4, or almost season 2 through 4. I'm still working on the season 2. I have all season 4 and all of season 2. And you could actually, if you guys want to check out this series, you have to find another way to watch the first season. But actually, the Beyblade has an official YouTube channel, and they have seasons 2 through 4 all on there. In fact, I put them all on a playlist. It is on my channel. You guys should go check it out. And yeah, Other than that, like I said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like. If you're new, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified for my next upload. And thank you. Goodbye.